All right, welcome to the Filthy Kitchen. I'm the Squadman. So tonight, I'm going to broil these two delightful steaks. If you notice, I've got this baking pan here with some tin foil on it that I used earlier to cook the bacon. So this is the exact same bacon grease. I didn't do anything about it. Steaks have been sitting out all day. They were frozen. They came up to just about room temperature, which is wonderful. They're still cold. Steaks are on the fat. It's going to be wonderful. I'm going to do 5 minutes on one side, 4 minutes on the other. These steaks are quite thin. One is thicker than the other. Quite honestly, that's probably too much time. But I'm thinking 4 and 3 might not be enough time, so I'm kind of in a bit of a quandary there as to what to do. Actually, maybe I will risk it. Maybe I'll risk it and do what I just said I wouldn't do. Maybe I'll do 4 and 3 and see how they turn out. Worst case scenario, I don't kill all the bacteria, I get deathly ill, I go to bed on the brink of death for 4 months, sweating profusely, eyes bugged out of my head, and then I make a miraculous recovery. Possible. But I think I'll be fine. So yeah, I'm gonna do 4 and 3. Unprecedented. I think it's going to be hot enough, and I think that should do the trick. Now, one thing about broiling that a lot of people do is they have a very hot frying pan, and either before or after they will put the meat on a very hot pan, usually before, to get a crust, get a nice caramelized crust on the steak. Usually they do that before they broil it with the idea that what they're doing is sealing in the juices. Now, that's a myth. They don't really seal in the juices. It sounds nice, but it does add a lot of beautiful caramelized flavor to the meat. I'm going to start this for 4 minutes. So here's the bacon grease pan with the steaks on it, right under the broiler. Some people like to leave the door open, and the theory there is that the heat doesn't heat the whole oven and you just get the intense heat from the broiler. That may or may not work. I think it's probably a waste of energy because all that heat is escaping. It's probably not a waste of energy. It's probably the exact same amount of energy either way. And maybe I'm even heating the house a bit, so it's probably even more efficient to do that. But I'm just not going to do it. It sounds weird to me, but it's probably fine. But I know the meat's going to be excellent either way. So, yeah, I forget what that's called where you do that, but other people wait until the meat's cooked, then put it on a hot skillet, usually a cast iron skillet, and same thing. It just singes the top and bottom, adds a lot of flavor, adds a lot of texture, very wonderful crust on the meat. I could do that, but I'm not going to do that. It's an extra step. I'm trying to get to work. The reality is, although this steak is going to be delicious, I'm basically eating it for fuel to get through my night shift. I don't feel like eating now. I'm not hungry. I just woke up. I am shaking the cobwebs. I just had a big cup of coffee. So yeah, my body is like, hey, let me sleep. What are you doing? Why are you getting up? We should be sleeping now. And I'm shocking the system by slapping myself awake, drinking some caffeine, got these weird chemicals going through my system. My body's like, I want to sleep. And now I'm going to take a big piece of animal flesh and force that down. My stomach's like, no, no, don't. What are you doing? Leave me alone. But that's the reality of life when, you know, the only job you can get that is slightly decent is night shift and, you know, whatever. So that's what I'm talking about. If that makes sense, then there you go. There you have it. Makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, well, one day you might understand. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a lot of smoke coming out of the vent, and you can hear the sizzling of the meat. I don't mind the smoke. That's probably because of all that bacon grease. Also, I probably need to clean this oven. This is a self-cleaning oven, so I might do that this weekend. I probably won't because I'm going to have my parents' dog here while my father has a little procedure done at the hospital. And yeah, cleaning the oven while the dog is here might just be a bit too weird. It involves extreme temperature and might cause some fumes or something, which I find very strange because you're not supposed to leave the oven when it's doing the self-clean. I think it gets up to 900, almost 1,000 degrees Celsius when it's in the self-cleaning mode. But you're not supposed to leave it, but also it's dangerous to be here because of fumes. So it's kind of a catch-22. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Hit the clean the oven setting and then go and hide in the basement for a few hours till it's done. I don't understand it. But anyway, you're not supposed to leave it. You might burn the house down. So I guess you're supposed to be here to call the fire department if it sets fire. But anyway, oh, here we go. Here we go. So that was 4 minutes. So now I'm going to do 3 minutes on the other side. I'm going to set it to 3 minutes and 15 seconds because it's going to take me a little while to flip these steaks. Got to flip them. Got to flip these bad boys. Woohoo, look at all that smoke. Woo! Where there's smoke, there's fryer. Huh? That's a dad joke, but I'm a dad. What do you expect? Ooh, these meat pieces are wonderful. Oh, I think that's enough heat. I don't think they're going to be undercooked, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, and my brain is still a little foggy. I can't remember what that word is, but I'm sure a lot of you are screaming at your screen saying, "It's this!" for what I'm talking about putting the crust on the steak with the heat. But anyway, we're not going to do that today. One of these days, maybe I'll do that. But anyway, so what I'll do then is, I probably should make some eggs to go with this, but I had eggs this morning. When I made that bacon, I had bacon and eggs. By the way, the bacon was terrible. The bacon was absolutely horrendous because it's been in the freezer way too long. It was cooked pretty well to perfection, but it didn't taste very good. So yeah, I would recommend buying your bacon with a good best before date, not putting it in the freezer, eating it within a sensible period, and that's it. So far with my freezer, I've discovered freezing cheese is a terrible idea. You can do it, and if you're putting it in an omelet or something, it's not too bad, but it gets all the proper liquids in the cheese freeze out, and yeah, the cheese becomes very crumbly and not very palatable. It's good in the egg, but I'm not going to freeze cheese anymore unless I absolutely have to. And the same thing with the bacon. And of course, I never have to freeze cheese, but if there's some blowout going out of business sale and the cheese is very cheap and I buy a bunch of them, obviously I'm not going to let them all go bad in the fridge. I'll have to freeze them in that case. But generally speaking, I can't see myself freezing cheese in the future. And I'm probably not going to freeze bacon in the future either. So there you have it. Those are my little experiments in the art of, you know, cryology maybe. You can check that. Cryo, of course, means freezing. But I'm very glad I have a freezer, and I have that deep freeze now too down in the garage, so I'm happy about that too. Or the garage, for those of you who prefer that pronunciation. Down in the garage. All right, turn off the broiler. Always turn off your stove. Woo! Smoky, smoky, smoking. Ah, dang. That's a lot of smoke there, but I think I'm going to enjoy these things. Whew, my eyes, my eyes. It's nice to take a plate out of the cupboard instead of having to wash one in the sink. The small joys of life. All right, ooh, look at that. Look at that, making a mess. All right, this is the small steak. I'm gonna put this small steak aside, and I will have that tomorrow. I'll have the bigger steak now. I'm not gonna have any eggs tonight, so as I mentioned, so I'll go with the bigger steak. And tomorrow I'll have the smaller steak with eggs. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. Whew! My eyes are burned out of my head here with the smoke. So while I let this steak rest, a very important part of cooking is letting it rest. Believe it or not, these steaks are still cooking, and although it's hard to believe, the theory is they're actually getting hotter now. They're still increasing in temperature even though they came out of the hot stove. That doesn't make any sense to me logically, but apparently if I had a meat thermometer I would see this in action, but I don't have a meat thermometer, so I don't mind believing that. That sounds like a bit of a leap of faith, and maybe it's not true, but you know, I'll believe that. That doesn't cause any problem. There are some things that I won't believe without proof, but this is a pretty harmless one to believe, you know. So yeah, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but if that's what they say, and maybe I could watch a video actually on YouTube of somebody actually doing that with a meat thermometer, but you know, who knows. People make all kinds of strange and boring videos out there, so maybe there's a video like that. And yes, I am making a joke about this video and the videos I make. I know my videos are often strange and boring, but there's a method to the madness. These videos actually, the point of these videos is this is a record for my kids. One day I may not be here. Well, of course, one day I will not be here. One day none of us will be here. Not the same day, of course, unless we get hit by a meteorite or something. But one day I will not be here. But at least my kids, if YouTube keeps all this stuff up or whatever, because the only record I have of these videos is on YouTube. I don't have the space to store all these videos. But one day my kids will watch these videos, that's what I hope, and they'll get to know their dad a bit better than they do now, and they can have memories and stuff like that. And who knows, the AI in the future, maybe some AI program will be able to take my language and my gestures and my image and make a nice facsimile of me to keep me around in one version for my children and possibly grandchildren, and who knows, to enjoy in the future. Anyway, that's the method Yes, I want to put out better quality videos. Yes, I want to put out more interesting videos. But anyway, eventually my kids will see these videos and be able to hang out with their father. And in the meantime, hopefully you people enjoy these videos as well. Anyway, this video is getting quite long, so who loves your baby? This guy, don't forget about it. Remember, you're somebody's favorite person in this world, probably mine. So till next time, love you, and goodbye.